So in this video, we're just going to look at the basic inputs that we'll be using on the mixer. The two main ones we'll be using are source 1 and source 2. And they are actually connected to these mini jacks, which are labeled aux 1 and aux 2. The reason they're labeled aux 1 and aux 2 is just to remind you that they're actually coming through the aux input. And the aux input is selected by pressing down these two buttons here. It could be phono, CD, or tape as well. We aren't using any of those. And so you could just set them to aux, or make sure that they're set to aux before you get started. The other inputs we'll look at in just a moment, but aux 2 I've hooked up to my iPod with a track playing, and I've set the volume to maximum. I think that will probably be what you'll need to do for most of your iPods. I've also plugged in my laptop into aux 1, so I can bring up music on either one. So right now aux 2 is hooked up to my iPod. If I bring it up, I left the crossfader in the middle, and we'll look at the crossfader in another video. And there you go, you can see the meters are registering, and you can hear that something is actually playing. So that's from my iPod. If I were to just press pause on it, that would stop. So that's coming from the iPod, and aux 1 is my laptop. You can't see it, but if I bring source 2 down and I bring up source 1, there is just bring the level up on my laptop. So there's source 1. So those are the two main inputs you'll probably be using. Of course, you will always use them. You will also use the microphone, and we'll discuss the microphone in more detail in another video. But there's the microphone line. There's the computer line as well, which is hooked up to the computer output on Winamp, which you can play files off of if you bring them in on a USB stick. And then there's the master output. And the master output, I would suggest we keep the master output usually set around 7, as it is now. It is, if you find that your levels are consistently too low or too high, you should adjust the master output. But usually you'd want it around 7, and hopefully your other inputs will be around there as well. Okay, so those are the basic inputs on the mixer.